Hi everyone, welcome to our Impact Showcase for Impact Production Autumn 2025. So we'll share some new features that we have for this year. I'm Michał Sikora, I'm based off in Poland. And with me here today is also Nikolai Stephenson. Nick, a couple words maybe.
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Nick, based off Denmark actually. So Michal and I are sitting in each our own country, but we're going to be working with the same project today. So hopefully you guys will learn a little there as well when you see what we do. But Michal's going to do the most of it, I think, Michal. So the word is back to you, and then I'll just interrupt you once in a while. And of course, I have something also to show you guys a little bit later on, something cool. So you can look forward to that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So what do we have in plan for today? This is going to be a general showcase for Impact Production with some new features that we've developed this past year. We'll start off with crane placement in the model, just so you have a quick overview how to do that and how it can help you with planning. We'll also have a look at our new planning tab, which we developed. It will automatically pop up once we do the date planning of rough planning of elements, either rough planning of erection or production process overall. Nick will also showcase a couple of new features with just a small little snippet here you have on screen and those nice screenshots there. We'll do automatic cast and transport planning as well with some of those new features that Nick will talk about. What we'll do as well, I'll show you the integration with Impact Go mobile app. So also just showcase you a little bit of my own screen on my phone and scan a couple of things from my desktop. Then we'll move on to playing around with storage and Impact and some follow-up tab for project monitoring, which Nick will be able to showcase you as well. All right, so with that out of the way, let's just move on straight to Impact. And here we have a model. Nick mentioned that it's going to be the same model for us. We are both in the same project right now. So everything that I see on my screen, Nick will just be able to refresh his model on his screen and it will be updated automatically. What we have on the screen is the model that we prepared for this demo. So we've already had a bunch of models, about a lot of sandwich panels, hollow cores, form slabs, I think, as well, some balconies, etc.
Also, for the ones of you, who don't use Impact today, there's like a mix on this webinar of already users and people that don't use it. This will also mimic a little bit when you're sitting in each your chair with each your own computer or in each your own country planning your factory. So everybody works together, of course.
Yeah, exactly. So to start off immediately about that crane placement and how you can utilize that, you guys who use it, you know it. You guys who don't, then showcase that it's possible. If your planning and your process allows for any input in the crane placement during erection, and that's for you. Basically, you can have a defined crane with different capacities, different radii of the arm, and that will allow you in model, in Impact, in Project Manager to basically check loads for your elements, whether the crane placement is okay. And with that, I'll just go ahead and click OK. First, of course, put the name of the crane 1. Always forget to do that. And mark which phase the crane will be active on. So you can have different phases of construction. You can have multiple buildings as well, so you can separate that as well, which crane is available for each building. For bigger sites, of course, there can be more cranes than one. So let's go ahead and do that, and let's place our crane. In the model, you immediately see a small little preview. What's there may be hard to see on your screen, but once I place the crane and zoom in, it will be much easier. So the crane is now placed. Let me go to top view, so it'll be easy for you to read. I'll zoom that in. That's crane 1. Actually, let's go to top view, so nice orientation for the text. That's basically our crane. There's the radius on the crane, and there's the capacity on that crane for those elements. With that, you can go ahead, either move the crane around. If you have not known the exact placement, you can move it to the exact placement. If not, then of course, you can place it where you expect it to be. And you can verify with a general load check on the elements, software will run and it will mark up, for example, which elements are in compliance for capacity and range. Basically, either green good, red bad. So if some elements are red, move the crane around, and then you should be able to place those to redo those elements. Let me move the crane with the move tool. Yep, like that. Maybe move it closer to here. And then
Here's also, just as a note here,
yeah,
it's also
okay.
possible to.
I got it all red, so of course, typical demo stuff. Tried to showcase some stuff, and it broke. So no worries there.
No, but
yeah.
it's also, I just wanted to say it's also possible, of course, to place multiple cranes at the same time. Maybe, Michal, you can remove that crane, put on a crane to the left side and a crane to the right side. Maybe that will be a mobile crane, something like that. So it'll represent 2 locations instead of that crane. Let's say it's a mobile crane. Some extra information on it also is that, of course, you can activate it or have it not being active on floors and other buildings. But there's also a time aspect, which Michal will come into later, that where you can say, okay, when we're lifting the elements, how long does it take to lift when we're lifting up on floors which are higher up or lower down? So that'll help us with the planning of the project itself.
There you go.
And now we can see everything is green as well.
Yep.
And you got a little extra bonus information while Michal was planning out his building site. I have one more idea, Michal, for this. Can you turn on the grid in the view? And our participants can see the grid, like 1 meter and 5 meter grids. Yeah, exactly, to control the locations of the cranes.
Yeah, exactly. So that grid will allow you the granularity of the grid. You can change in the setup and the preferences in Impact. So that's fine. You get a nice little grid. In my case, I think it's meter by meter. So it gives you some good granular control over the crane placement. Maybe not to exact millimeter, but I think good enough for site.
Per meter should be good enough, I think.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So we've got it planned out. I'll check my. I'll hide the cranes now because we don't really need to see those. Select that, and now hide those cranes. We don't need that. I also turn off the grid so the view is a bit cleaner, and change the element color because we don't need to see the crane status anymore. Just to status of the elements. Right. So now we can move ahead to actually planning out the elements. Maybe I'll limit the view to 1 floor, just so that we don't spend the whole day just planning the whole building. So I'll just limit the view to the floor number 1 and maybe perfectly just to sandwich panels. So as you can see, super simple to limit the view to what you want to see in Impact. Just go to the tree on the left side of the screen. In my case, on the left. Of course, you can move the views around on different panels around the screen. If I wanted hollow cores, I can just go to hollow cores, and I can see all the hollow cores that are on floor 1. Super easy, super convenient to very user friendly. Simply put. Let's go back to sandwich panels now. Of course, we've added the crane. We want to start. Maybe we know when we want to have that have those elements built on site. But first, since we know where to put the cranes, we also control the erection sequence of the elements. So with that, it's a good idea to actually assign which element is built in which order or erected in which order. I'll zoom into the element mark here, element ID as well. So our wall SW18 has an ID of 20. ID is individual per element in Impact. So each individual element, even though the element might be the same mark, so we can have different SW18 walls, like 3 of those in the model, but each one of those will have an individual ID. And because of that, also we can specify where exactly in the process each element will be erected. Now ES here in the preview is just erection sequence. All of those are 0 because they have no erection sequence assigned. So there's a couple of ways we can, there's a couple of ways we can select elements for erection planning, but we do that in the erection planning tab. It's here now on the bottom of my screen. You see it's nice empty, nothing there. I can select multiple elements, not with this option, but I can select my elements just by holding Control and just moving around the screen in a specific order. And the order of my clicks, so basically the order of selection of the elements defines the erection sequence of the elements. So you see me going clockwise on this particular floor. I'll add those elements after that selection, and SW18, so the one I started clicking off, ID 20, and new erection sequence will be 1. Once I apply, it will just think for a second, it's done, and now that erection sequence has been updated for all the elements. So see, our elements are now good and planned in erection sequence. I can move ahead and do that for another set of walls or different types of elements, but maybe for now, let's just go to the actual planning side of things for our sandwich panels. Once we do some planning on those, maybe I'll do a couple of maybe hollow cores as well, so we can plan those out on a different set of tables. So to start cast planning, first I'm going to change the tab from erection planning to cast planning. Oh, one more thing I forgot. With erection planning, once you have that sequence in, actually you can go to a simulation tab as well and showcase the erection sequence that's going to happen for those elements. I'm going to do that. No, not those. And start that. So sometimes it bugs out and you need to restart that, but it gives you a nice little simulation there. Of course, it's just one floor of just sandwich panels, but if you have the whole building planned up like that, then it looks kind of impressive to see the whole sequence and how everything fits together one after another. So that's something that's worthwhile, maybe a good tool to show your clients how the process will look and work. Now let's go back to cast planning. Cast planning, that's going to be the second step after I talk about rough planning the elements. You see I have some elements planned there. That's from another project I did a demo on. Actually, that's planned out for in a couple days in the future on the 24th. But for us, let's go to the element IDs tab. And in the element IDs, basically we have a nice little table view of all the elements that I have had selected for to be visible on my screen. Since I limited my view to sandwich panels only, I only have sandwich panels here. If I go click on floor number 1, then that selection is gonna go bigger. And you see some red X's here and some green ticks with some numbers there. That's the erection sequence that we actually have assigned before to the elements. So immediately you have a preview here, whether you actually assign an erection sequence to the elements or not. Erection sequence also matters at some other stages in the planning process, because maybe you want to include that erection sequence in your transport planning. So not only the erection itself, but unloading the elements on site or maybe building up the elements straight from trucks has importance in the process in your particular case. So that's where erection planning is also important, as you can plan the other processes through that erection planning. So your storage and your transport as well, and loading of trucks according to that erection sequence or reverse erection sequence. Right. So going back to just sandwich panels for a moment, this is where the bulk of the rough planning will come into place. We've got a couple of columns here. It's going to be, they're nice and marked blue. That's because they're editable by you, or us in this case. There's planned erection date, planned delivery date, planned storage, planned production, and planned drawing date. Impact allows you to automatically plan out those dates according to dependencies, or so simply put, some settings where you can find them. I'll just show you that quickly. Of course, project properties right now. So the way it works, you can define whether you want to count backwards from the erection date, planned erection date, or from planned drawing date. So once you have one of those dates set, or any of the other dates in the process in the intermediary, you can define how long it takes for each particular step. And once that definition is in place, Impact will take this time. So simply put, for sandwich balance here, there's planned direction date difference. That is our base timeline, and we go back one day earlier. It needs to be delivered. 2 days earlier before that, it needs to be stored, and 1 day before storage, it needs to be actually produced. And 7 days before that, you need to have a drawing to prep for production and whatnot. And here's where you have those settings. Let's not play around with those anymore, because that's maybe too much detail for now. But to showcase that, how that works. Let's plan out the whole floor. Might be too fast to set it up in 1 day, but let's do it anyway. And
I have an idea for this one.
Yeah.
Michal, is it okay if I take the screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a nice idea for this one. That's why we're 2 people here. Is we get a little bit of a dynamic webinar for you guys. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
So I get another idea here to do it. I'm just gonna make myself the presenter, and then maybe Michal, you can just confirm if we can see the exact same thing pretty much on my screen as you were seeing on yours. The sandwich panels. And you can see it's a little different for me, the setup here. This is just how I like it, with a white background and so on. But I'm going into the element IDs, and you can see I click this one. So I get number 1 at the top. And I will select everything. And maybe we can even click the button up in the new tab, the new planning tab here, and say when we want to start. When do you want to start building this building, Michal?
Oh, I think we should do that sometime in November, because we need to produce that still. Yeah, maybe that 20th, maybe. Yeah, I think we can make it in a month.
We'll start initial date 20th. Boom. That almost went a little too fast for you guys, probably. Since Michal, you were talking about adding the days on the planned erection date or the planned drawing date and how long it takes, I was just thinking, well, why don't use the extra parameters we have there for how many elements we can produce in 1 day? And you can actually see now that the planned erection date, hopefully you can see it, is the 20th, the 21st, and the last date is the 24th. It goes from the 21st to the 24th because there is a weekend, and we have set in our system that we don't want our guys to work in the weekends. This means I can even actually go in and just say how many elements goes up each day, in this case here. So basically, I don't exactly know what your plan with the rough planning is, Michal. Now I just ruined it in 5 seconds because
That's
I
all
planned
right.
everything. But that's the whole point, to get the system to work for you. That was my input for this one here. I think you can take over the screen again, Michal. And as soon as Michal hits update, if he hasn't done it already, all the dates that I filled in, of course, is visual on his side also.
I will just show you how fast that is. Nick, can we see my screen now?
Yes, we see your screen.
That's perfect. So now, as you can see, I left my screen as it is, as Nick took over. Now I just need to click update here. What will happen? Impact will. Did you click save on that on those dates?
When you use that new tab there, you don't have to. So it's using the old function, you can save it, but the brand new project planner thing, it just does it for you. So that's why I laughed a little bit before, because it was so quick that we didn't even have time to explain what we're doing.
Exactly. Exactly. That's super fast and super convenient for us. And as you can see now, my screen looks exactly as Nick's. So we're sitting thousands of kilometers apart, and that's basically one little workspace for us. And that works. So from then on, we can go ahead and start planning some elements, but maybe let's move and actually do a similar thing very quickly for hollow cores as well. There was like a 24th was the last of the walls, so maybe sometime beginning of first week of December we'll do let's do some erection planning on our hollow cores as well. So we have some erection sequence there as well, very quickly.
When you add them in, then Michal, just add the erection crew.
Oh yeah.
When you do it, then everything is done, like the pre-work for having that automatic dates there.
All right. Okay. Let's add that. Those are walls. Okay. Erection
then
division.
click inside it and Control A to add the erection crew for everything all at once. You know, I'm all about that automation. You guys might not. Just Control A, right click and do it instead. It's a much easier way.
Yeah.
So you guys are maybe not going to do it like that. You can see Michal, he works also as he would probably work normally, but I'm all about it being as easy as I can get it to be. So if I only have to click one button, I will only click one button.
Yeah, that's why we have Nick here to showcase our new features. Even I don't know about all of those, so that's why we have him here. Right, so we've got our erection sequence for our elements. Now I'll just repeat the process, calculate the erection date. Maybe let's go decreasing sequence now, increasing initial date for production. I think if we go maybe this one should be sufficient with the dates.
In this case, we could use the date where it finishes off the other one.
Okay. That's weird.
Right click it and try to right click it and do it in the old-fashioned way with the planning, so that the guys can see.
Just for you to see the difference between those two little different setups. The old-fashioned way, let's just select the date, first week, middle of the second week of December, apply that. Once I click save, Impact will actually automatically set the dates for other elements. Just those two days that I forgot to mark them up, and that's it. Impact calculates that for you.
And here we can use, of course, the date from the other elements. So when they finish the start and everything, for us, of course, just sitting and talking, doing a webinar, we just what's it called? Making up the dates as we go.
Yeah.
So we get something exactly. You guys can see.
That's not going to be real.
It's not a real project, unfortunately. So.
So if something feels unrealistic, then yeah, that's because we're just clicking things on screen for you guys. Yeah. But Nick has shown you that the new way actually allows us to include the capacity of the elements or the capacity of the factory in production per day to include
that. Gives you less control, but if you have something like hollow core or standard walls or something like that, you can plan hundreds of elements in a second, which is the whole point, of course. And you can take full control of it by doing like Michal also did. Take one element at a time. Take 10 elements at a time. Control it yourself. Of course, that's it's all up to you how you are most comfortable working. It's the same thing when we start to do the actual planning of the production as well.
Yeah, I see. I have my tables actually occupied on those dates. So for sandwich panels, that's I think 11th. No, maybe, yeah. So we'll actually move ahead with the schedule a bit to start producing the elements a bit earlier for some of those. So basically, I can mark up all the elements that I want. Now, that's a magic button here. That's auto-bed management or multicast. And that will, simply put, automatically place those elements in beds for me. And it will try to put all of those on the date that I have selected. So that's the 10th. In my view, I only have 1 day, but in a second, I'll show you, once it plans out those elements, how I can view a couple of days ahead, and it will be much more convenient to maybe control what's happening at the factory a couple of days ahead. I also clicked here multicast. That will allow Impact to actually plan out the production across multiple days. So even if I select 1,000 elements, it will just fill all the possible spaces for production from a date I'm planning on. And some basic settings like placement of elements, whether they're aligned left, right, it doesn't matter. So you can control that. You can, of course, select which tables from your factory you want to use for particular elements or in particular project. So you can limit the possibility, for example, for some tables to be used reserved maybe for another project or maintenance as well. I'm just going to click that. I think we're going to be fitting on all those tables here, as it's not that many elements. The software will, of course, think for a couple of seconds. Once that's done, you can see the elements are now planned out. And yeah, the status of the elements as well changed. So Impact allows you to control what's happening with the elements by changing the statuses. And since now the elements are placed on cast beds and they're roughly planned, or now at least the elements are planned to be produced on the 10th. And you can see the date automatically as well changed here. We didn't get a warning, which means we will be able to actually make it in the dates that we've planned. I'll go ahead and actually plan out the remaining of the elements, starting from this date as well. And actually, I'll click all of those. I think with the amount of elements that we have, we should fit in the next couple of days. So let's just do that. Let the software do its job. And if we need to move something on the beds as well, we can. I'll show you once Impact stops thinking about planning the elements. There's a couple of things we can change as well. And the elements have been put in here. Impact found space for some elements to actually fit in on the tables that were occupied for smaller elements from another days. So this, of course, gives you similar thing as with the automatic rough planning stuff that Nick showed. Maybe less of a granular control of what's happening in the beds because you give the autonomy to Impact to do it for you, but it definitely speeds up the process. So because of course you can click all the walls one by one, bring them to the table, so you can do that. That's just going to take more time. Let's move. Actually, let's not move. Let me just change my display to a couple of more things. Let's say 5 days ahead. It loads a bit slower, but at least it gives you like a week's overview of what's happening with the on project. I'm just gonna make that bigger for you. So you can see the elements from our project are now made in those 2 days. And we've actually, from production dates, I see we managed to squeeze in on those 2 days, on the 10th and 11th for production of all those elements, since all the other days are occupied for next week as well. So actually, we got lucky with the schedule there. Now, there's one or a couple of fun little things here that maybe would be a nice little break from this process, and I'll let Nick take over and show a couple of things, because with having stuff on the cast beds now, well, you see some details on that, but we do have some nice little developments. So Nick, you can go ahead and maybe share the screen.
Yes. I was filtering out everything here. Maybe show how I did that, because I was just following along.
It's all right.
So I'm gonna filter again. There we go. So here we have the whole building. You can actually see some of the element turned yellow. That's because Michal planned them. You can see up here, very small writing, planned for production. And now I don't want to filter just the sandwich walls or the hollow core. That was what I was doing before. So I want to go into the whole building. But in my case, I want to see all the elements that have erection planning. So I just say filter erection sequence number with greater than 0. So now I can see everything that Michal planned for erection. And we can see the hollow core, those have not been planned for production yet. The walls have, which is why they're yellow. So that's what I was looking for. So, but yeah, as Michal said, another cool thing to show, or useful thing, I wouldn't say it's not just cool, it's very useful. You can do it at any time. This is just where we thought it'd be a good idea to fit it in the webinar. Up here for project management, you can see right now we have a very nice model, of course, with all the details in, but not actually all the details. We are not looking at the joints, we're not looking at the reinforcement and so on and so forth. And there we have a solution for that as well. If you need to see it, you can turn it on. So I can go in, select these ones, and use this representation here. OBJ it's called. This means that if you have in your impact design or from Tekla exported also the reinforcement and cast-in items, OBJ is basically like a 3D file. Then it switches on, and now you probably can't see that much of a difference here because I'm far away. But if I start to zoom in on the, oh, that was a little bit much zooming, a lot zooming. If I start to zoom in on the elements, you will see actually the reinforcement mesh, the bars going over the doors. If you can see here also, it's transparent. I can actually see the bracings, the bracing inserts. We do have the lifters also, as you can see here. And this can even be filtered and switched on and off up here. So if there's something important in a connection here, for example, now we're looking from the other side, welding plates is connecting these elements. The bracings, very easy to see on the other sides of the elements. And here, this is where we have some solid walls coming into that. So you could add the solid wall also to check the connection in there also, if that was good. The same thing with the hollow cores, of course, but not only up here. This is just for the project manager. What about the production planner? So here we have the first day when we start to produce the elements. I pick an element down here. You can see it's the same as up here. Down here is not showing the details, but I can go in and say, I want to see this represented as OBJ as well. And here you have full control of what it is you actually want to see. So let's just start with everything. And then I can zoom in, and you can actually see on some of the elements that you have reinforcements sticking out where these connect into balconies or slabs above them. And you can see everything in here. And here, of course, well, you have it in a full 3D. And you can see the difference here between the elements. These elements that are here, these were not exported with reinforcement in them, or the reinforcement has not been made yet. These ones do. And you can see the meshes and so on. And everything you have in there, you'll be able to see, of course. If I go back here, just to show a little bit different, saying, okay, but I don't want to see the concrete. I just want to see the reinforcement and the items. I don't know why you would not see that, but just to give you guys an example. So now we're only seeing that instead. So whatever you need and however you need to see it. Very important for reinforcement sticking out. I'll show you guys some stuff on this one on the transports as well. But full control of this. I'll hit save again here. And of course, you can also, now I'm looking at 1 day. We can go like Michal did, look at 2 days, for example. And it's just going to load all the elements in and show the 2 days to 2 days planning here. So you can see, for the next day, it's still All good. Before I give it back to you, Mial,
Yep.
just gonna maybe turn this off.
In the
Save.
meantime, I planned the hollow course, so if you want
You
to do
did.
anything with
You
them,
did.
go ahead. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you can. I wanted to show the hollow course. That's why. So in this case here, we can go back to database. I don't need it anymore, or you can have it switched on. Database just means that's just the rough sizes and so on for the elements. If we go to the hollow core, here you have what's called database as well. I can click those, show OBJ. So you can see, and this one we've made, there are lifters and core fillings in all the elements to the right. And there are no lifters in the ones to the left. So for you, of course, you either use lifters or not probably, or only use lifters in small elements. But in our case, it's just showing it. It's even showing the strands and everything. And you say you planned it also, Mial?
Yep.
So let's go to our holocore factory.
It's Holocore Factory. It's on the 4th of December, the production of those. And
let's say right now he can tell me it's on the 4th of December. I'm just going to pretend I didn't hear it. Just so you guys can see also. You don't have to call each other and say, hey, I planned some stuff on that day. So if I click on an element here, I can see planned production date, 4th of December. So let me just go to the 4th of December. And there we go. It's actually planned here also. I can zoom in. And now we don't look at this OBJ as we call it. We can do that as well. For this hollow course, of course, it's going to be the strands and it's going to be the lifters and so on. But it's really nice to see also what you're doing here in this case. So we can actually check if everything is all right. You can see the strands going through the correct way and everything. Everything is as it should be. So let me, I don't know why I switch it on and off. It's a habit I get. The less you show, the faster it is. But you can see there's not a problem with anything not being fast, even though I show it. Of course, let's say you're showing 5,000 elements at the same time. Well, then just show what you need to see. You can't see the rebar in 5,000 elements anyways at the same time. You can't even see it in 50. You have to zoom in. So maybe one last thing to do here would be to go in and to check just to finish it up on the OBJ. I'm just going to filter this again. So you can see here. And then I can go in and take these elements here. You can just select whatever you want to do. I can also just take them all, but so now you can go in and you can see much more in detail what's going on in the corners here. Again, this is what I talk about where we get some slabs in later, but you can really see the details. Funny thing also is now these ones are also showing. This is because they are identical to these ones. So it's the same file that makes this happen. But you can go in and you can check everything here. If you can actually see, in my case, the corner looks weird, but that's because it's transparent. So when I zoom in, you can actually see, oh, the corner probably looks fine, but there might be some polishing work needed here. We need our drawing guys to look at this corner here to actually take the make the corner correctly. So it'll look good on the side, so we don't have to do anything there. So that's a really good tool to be able to see all the details here. Yes, I think it's a little bit about that, enough about that at least. Should I delete the holocore planning and you can do it again, Michal, so that I'm just thinking, because it's so easy. So you guys need to see it if you haven't seen it before. I'm going to delete it. You didn't even say yes, so I'm going to do it anyways.
That's all right. That's all right.
Here we have rules for you guys, so that let's say one guy can plan and delete and edit, and then another guy can only view it. So you can't do this. Otherwise, the database, of course, tracks who does what. So if I do this, Michal, you can come and knock me in the head later on and say, why did you do that? So there is full control on who's doing what.
Exactly. I'm just going to take over my screen now.
Yep.
And of course, refresh the planning. You probably can see that. Just refresh the planning on the same day. As Nick mentioned, super easy. Just super easy. Just marked all the whole course and just plan them out. For some reason, my AutoCast is not gonna work. Maybe.
Oh, just update the model. I think you forgot to update the project manager model.
Yeah.
Normally, when you guys work in this, there's like auto updates and so on. But because Michal and I are sitting and doing it on top of each other right now, we'll need to hit the update button. But basically that's it. Yeah.
What I did before actually is I turned off those 3 different tables here because those are for different types of beams, not beams, pre-stress elements. So I just not use them entirely. So just those 3 tables. And again, select the date. That's not enough elements really to saturate a lot of days for those follow cores. A couple of clicks and the elements will be here right now. Right. So same thing that Nick that you've seen on Nick's screen. With that out of the way, the way the planning works, I think it's a good idea to move back to the sandwich panels and go back to the 11th, right? And I think I'll just limit that. It was also 10th for elements. Well, I have a nice little cast bed here with some elements. And for that, I'm just going to click that as well. And I'm going to click print. And I'm going to create a cast label with QR code, which will allow me to open up my mobile application and show you that you can also do some stuff on the elements from the mobile app. As soon as I get an Excel spreadsheet, I'll show you how that pops up. There it is. It starts thinking about that Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to make another one as well. There it is. There it is, our cast bed. What I'll do right now, onto my screen, I just opened up my phone, and what I'll do, that's my phone. It's right here. Yeah, you can see it. I'm just going to scan the QR code. That's going to be a bit of lag because there's multiple screen sharing going on at once. But in my phone, once that loads up from the database, you can see that's the cast bed. Those are the elements that are on the cast bed. What I can do right now is if I, for example, applied an element control to an element, I could do QC, do measurements pre-production, or post-production. I could also do measurements, make sure everything's okay. So maybe we'll do that. I'll actually go back to Project Manager. Let's select SW6 wall. Let's go element controls. There's no element controls on that element. Let's add some standard pre-production control. Let's actually add that. And you can see that I can add some element controls to an element from the desktop. So you're seeing that right now on my screen. But if I go ahead and refresh my app, close that, what I should see as well, once I refresh that, there's a big red tick and next to that SW6 double wall. If I go ahead and click that wall, I can't click for some reason from TeamViewer with my mouse. I can go ahead to element control, this blue mark on the left of the screen, and I have attached a pre-production control to this element and a grayed out production control. I can't do anything with production control now because the element doesn't exist. But if I go to pre-production control, I can go ahead, select that. Don't worry, for some reason the app translates that everything to Polish. So if you don't understand words on the screen, don't worry about it. It's in English as well. So is the formwork done? I can mark it as yes. I can make sure that the reinforcement is done and accounted for. I can save that. I can go to measured checks. I will not do any measurements. I will not input any values, but yeah, I can do that. It warns me that the value is 0 because I didn't really input any values. And right. Now I'll go back. So the measurements are done. I can now mark the whole pre-production control as marked, save it. What you see, it pops up with dates, pops up with names, who's responsible for that. If I go back, the element both changed the status and changed the tick mark to be green, which means the controls have been conducted on the element and the status has been changed, it's been planned and approved for production. Now, some checks can be mandatory, so you can't really move the element through production unless the checks are made. So that's up to you and the settings that you would like to apply in your factory to make sure that everything's in order. I can, of course, now mark the whole cast bed, and I can make it as produced. Of course, it's a bit ahead in the future, but I can just save it. The elements can be produced. For some reason, okay, did it change the status for me? Yes, it did. This takes a bit of waiting, and you can see all the elements have some production controls as well. To quickly showcase that, what we can still do with that, I'm going to select that element. I'm going to click I on that and click on this big warning sign in the middle of my screen. What that allows me to do is create disorders on the elements. And I'm just going to click plus here, not with my mouse, but with my finger. Wait for it to load up. And it's now soon going to be there. Yeah, it's there. So there's going to be some information about it, who's responsible for that, the reason of what's happened with the element, maybe the finish it off, and of course, if I just move that team viewer icon there to the bottom of the screen, there's two options for me to do. I can attach a screen from my gallery, or I can take a picture immediately. So let's take a picture, and let's say that's going to be our finish malfunction on the screen. I'm just going to OK on that and create that disorder. Mouse doesn't work in TeamViewer.
So everything Michal is doing now, again here, the great thing is that I see everything he's doing. Exactly. When I'm working through the project, and everything is mirrored because we're sitting in the exact same place, not physically, but in the software. We're each logged into the project here, so working together. Exactly. I think, Michal, I'm just in the interest of time.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to keep people. I think we promised around an hour. We don't want to keep people for 3 hours at least.
Yeah, that's correct.
I think we can move also on to maybe some transport planning and so on. I think the Impact Go app is really, really important for tracking everything that's going on. We showcased that here with producing the elements, and there's much more you can do. You can plan elements that needs to be reproduced if they broke or if something happened, or flag something that needs to be moved. Michal can put the activity on me, so I have to solve it. There's a lot of things we can do, and we can sit here all day back and forth, plan the whole project out, getting it produced, which is of course what you guys will do. But the whole thing is that it's just easy to see, and I can see you're hovering around that disorder you just created, Michal.
Yeah, it's there visible for us in the database as well, so immediately you can be notified that something's going on with the elements. As I mentioned, in the interest of time, I just moved to the transport planning tab. There's a couple of ways you can do planning, but we'll just show a quick and easy one. A quick and easy one is just selecting the elements you want. Actually, say those elements that need to be delivered on the 19th, right? And I'm just going to plan out transports with this one button here. And this allows me to first open up a window and select an example template of the truck. we'll see if it works out fine in terms of the way the software automatically creates stacks for transport. But this way actually allows you to plan out the transport, taking into account the delivery dates automatically. So I actually am using the element dates. And what will happen? Impact will both create the transport and the stack itself, and then put that stack on that truck so it can be delivered according to the expected dates. There's a bunch of different settings as well here available. You have a contact address book and the delivery address book as well as available companies that do deliveries. So all that can be planned out in here. So I'm just going to click OK here with one template and let Impact take over and see how much elements he fits on each truck and how many transport it automatically creates for us. Okay, auto transport is done. 11 elements have been transported, and that's one transport here. Very tiny little window because there's so much info on screen. There's so much, this limited real estate, and you can see it automatically places those walls in an inloader as I want it. And let's see the other transport. Now that's off, definitely. So that would warrant some auto adjustment or adjustment by yourself. There's maybe 4 elements that don't fit here. I think we can move them quick and easy to another stack. So,
so this all depends on your settings.
Yeah, and, exactly.
In our case here, I think these inloaders are not designed for these sandwich panels because it says something about X amount of elements. So you can put them on. You can see Michal is now doing the stack. You can put them on another inloader stack or on an A-frame or something like this.
Exactly. I can remove those elements from that particular planning, or I can cut those elements out and click them one by one, 4 elements, preferably cut them, and then maybe paste them to another transport. Paste those elements in here. Should be good. We'll see if that fits. There's still too much, but it's just a matter of creating another transport and doing that. But maybe that's a little bit beyond the scope of going here, maybe too much detail. So maybe Nick, go ahead and share your screen and see what we can do with some new features in transport.
The whole point of it's actually really good to show this because you guys can tell maybe that this is not Michal's factory. This is my factory. So you might not know my settings, but the thing is, let's say that Michal, he's a new guy, started in the company or something like this, who's planning, and he doesn't know the capacity of the trucks or how it's set up. In this case, the limitations, we haven't built enough limitations on it. For me, of course, I know maybe I don't even want to do these on inloaders. Maybe I want to do them on A-frames instead. It depends on how you guys, of course, you do your own stuff here. So I'm just going to go in this case here, on my stack, and we will just see. Now the webinar curse comes in here. My screen is frozen right now. Maybe you can't tell that. I see Michal is almost frozen, but I think that's just sitting still.
So scary. No, that's typical that it happens. And of course, it must happen almost at the end of the webinar.
Yeah, exactly. The computer's getting tired here.
Oh yeah, too much sharing.
Just gonna make sorry, Michal. I'm just gonna make you the presenter again, and you can like show an A-frame. And I almost said I'm gonna restart my my computer or something here. So I'll let you know.
That's okay. Let's go actually and plan out very quickly transports for A-frames. Let's not do that this way. Let's actually go to stack planning and actually create auto stacks, A-frame auto stacks for sandwich panels. You can see we have a template exactly for that, A-frame sandwich. And it does have like a max element count, max mass, of course, so maybe it won't even fit 4 elements if they're heavy. So I'm just going to click that. Load dates, is that a good one? Yes, that's a good one. Let's create that. Element size does not fit. See, I don't know the exact settings. Maybe some elements are too big. And it seems like, yeah, one of our walls is way too big. It's 6 meters long,
In our
where there's
factory,
only
we
about.
have an 8-meter in loader as well. Not 8-meter in loader, 8-meter A-frame as well. Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. But A-frame that's specified for solid walls might exactly do something like this. So it might be just too big. Let me just make that bigger for you. So I'll just quickly show you how you can readjust that. If the mass fits and number of elements fits, then, for example, we can click those two elements, click merge stack layer. And like that, now those elements are in just one layer and it works nicely. And now maybe like that, merge this here. And now, of course, you can create a truck and you can put the whole stack on a truck, simply put. Let's see the other one, if it works. Now those are quite big, so I'm not sure if we merge those stack layers if they'll fit. But let's leave it for now. If I go to transport planning right now, I can create transport from a template as well. That can be, for example, a trailer. The delivery can be on the 20th and 20th. And let's maybe make that slightly earlier in the day so it doesn't scream at us, because there's some loading times as well for the trucks. So I've created one transport and it's going to be empty. That's an A-frame. I can actually remove that A-frame from here. Remove it entirely, untransport and delete stack. I don't need it. And I can just go ahead back to stack planning, move that, cut that whole stack and actually paste it. Oh, click here and paste it. And it will now actually add this A-frame entirely to that new truck. So super easy, super fast, very convenient. Of course, you saw some mishaps there. That goes with any webinar really, but you can see very easy to fix that. And transport also gives you some quick info as well on the capacity of the trucks, so how much they're loaded with. So we still have some capacity on this truck, but maybe no point in loading it any further. And you also see some calculations like the actual loads on the trucks as well. So you can see that this whole stock actually exceeds the pin load in this particular place. Nothing simpler than just moving that bucket. So you get the exact dimension to the center of gravity of the whole stack. You get the center of gravity in the stack, both longitudinal and transverse. So it gives you a lot of control of what's happening. See, it's no longer red, so no warning there. Capacity is good. Same thing over the axle. Total is 8 tons probably on the axle, 10 still in capacity. So that's super quick transport. You can, of course, print transport labels, QR codes as well, manage what's loaded and what's not loaded on the transport through the mobile app. But that's another couple of minutes and we're already running out over time. So maybe.
Let me. I restarted. I don't know what happened. Let me share the screen again.
Go ahead.
If that's okay. Show my screen. So I pretty much this is where you left off, I think, Michal.
Yep.
The difference here is that I see everything again in the elements. Looking from the top, you can see a little bit transparent in here. You can see the door going in here. You can see what's the difference between the width and the placement of the elements here. Anything overlapping? What do we need to control? Here it's fine. So you can really see some detail in this one as well. And it's going to be the same in the other ones also. When we go to the inloader, this is a heavy, front heavy inloader, of course, but here you can also put up, if it goes both from the front and the back, you can have more elements in and so on and so forth. But it's the same way with these 3D files, is that you can see everything you're doing. And I think that, Michal, you didn't show this, but you can actually drag the elements around, like manually moving them. It's just a better way to merge it like that, so the software will control it for you. But that's it from here as well. And I think maybe, Michal, did you want to end with the project follow-up? I think you mentioned that in the beginning, maybe.
Yeah,
Just
but
so we
maybe you
didn't
can do
promise
that.
something we don't do.
Yeah, maybe you can do that. Been talking quite a while.
Yeah, are we seeing my screen now, or are we seeing your screen? I'm
I
gonna
think,
see my screen.
yeah, we see your screen. Yeah.
Yeah, so in my case here, you can see the follow-up. If you click follow-up, you're just gonna see this. There's not gonna be anything because there's nothing configured. So if I go in and I create one, create a follow-up, you can decide what is it you want to follow up on. So in my case here, this is created by me, and I will just write everything. We call it that. You can follow up on anything you want, any building, any floor, any phase, any specific factory, any type of elements, but I just want to see everything. You can see there's a lot of filters here. So let me just see everything that's going on here, both planned and unplanned elements in this case. Now, of course, we haven't planned everything yet, but we can see here the planning that we are doing. We need to start. The first deadline we have is on the 5th of November. What is that deadline? That is the planned drawing date. The planned drawing date deadlines span from the 5th to the 28th. What is it that we need to finish and when? And you can see actually every single element and when they need to be finished. So here you can see we have a gap from the sandwich walls to the hollow core. In those 2 weeks in between, we're probably going to erect the columns and the beams and internal walls and so on as well. And you can see the colors also. We have this orange and yellow colors here. In this case, we just planned something out. So we actually have something where the drawing should be finished on the 7th. The element is already produced. We just produced it in the future just to be able to show you guys the statuses. So it's really easy to follow along on what is what. And this is like on a higher level thing. You can dive down into it all you want. You can go to your element IDs where you can see everything you're doing. But you can also just as a project manager or in the management, just go in and check, I want to see this one project. What's going on? Is there any delays? We don't have any delays right now. If we had delays, we would also see the delays here. It would come up as like exclamation marks, red, and so on. Oh, the drawing date is, the drawing is not finished on this one. So we're late with that. That's going to affect this and that. The same thing with the production date, the storage date. So we can see we start, the drawings need to be finished on the 5th. The first element will be produced on the 10th. The first element will be put up on the site on the 20th. So you can see this phases here. So everything goes from week 45 to week 50. So we're going to finish this, or at least this is what we planned so far, before Christmas, which is great. We haven't looked at anything else in the project manager today. And that's all fine for one project. Of course, we have also the resource manager. I think we have some webinars where we show the resource manager, show 5 projects at a time, 10 projects at a time. In this case here, we wanted to show you the visual aspects, some of the new cooler stuff, newer cooler stuff. This things with showing the reinforcement and casting items on the trucks, on the casting beds, even in the project manager model is brand new. Some of this other stuff is newer, such as the follow-up tab, the auto planning that you saw earlier when it took 5 seconds to plan everything. So I think that maybe a good overview for what can you do in the project manager in late October 2025. There's of course a lot more you can do. If you go into element IDs, you can see there's a whole planning tab here. Basically, it's taking some of the most common tools that you have down here when you right click and you plan something, is put them up as like a quick button to do. Do we want to copy the planning? Do we want to set some dates? Do I want to set a crane on a specific element? You guys go in and try it out. If you don't have Impact already today, well, give us a call or apply for a free trial license and you can go in and try it out as well with our training course. Some of the features are advanced, so they're not in the training course, but once you finish the course, you can just try clicking around this up for yourself. That's how you learn, is by doing, I think.
Yeah.
I think that yeah, we promised that one at the beginning, and I just remembered. So if somebody sat in the first 5 minutes and thought, yeah, you wanted to do the project follow-up, then we wanted to deliver on our promises. Is there anything else we forget, Michal?
I think we covered it all, actually. I'm looking at the PowerPoint right now. No, we've.
But it's great with these webinars. Actually showing what's going on. What can you see? Can you see what each other are doing? Showing the phone, showing the reinforcement, and all of these kind of things. So all in all, I think this was good. Sorry guys for having a little bit messy end about showing the screens and so on, but that's what happens on these webinars once in a while, of course. The questions and so on, I think we'll get back to them.
I think we're already a bit over time.
We spend a lot of time now here, of course, so we'll get back.
All the questions we'll answer by email, so no worries. If anything like fun pops up as well, then maybe we'll make a video or some follow-up and just put it up on our profiles about those. Of course, we do encourage you to go to our LinkedIn or Strusoft, or also our official profile. That's where you might find some videos. Go ahead as well and visit Strusoft official YouTube webpage, which contains different recordings of webinars, various promo materials, some instruction videos as well on how to do stuff. And of course, go ahead and check Impact on our official strusoft.com website. And with that, I think we would both like to thank you very much for your patience and attendance. And hopefully we'll be able to work together in some capacity in the future. So go ahead, message us, email us if you want trials, apply for those. We're very happy to share those with you guys. And it's always best to try it yourself and play around with it yourself, because I think showing it is good, but using it is even better. So thank you guys. And Nick, anything else you want to add?
Nothing more to add other than thank you guys for your time. And hopefully we'll, if we're not already speaking, we'll speak in the future. So we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
thank you. Bye, guys. See ya.